What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be back to work on the Ford F150 Tremor. As you guys know, we were over at the Goon Squad garage doing some framework on their G-Wagon. We got all that knocked out. Now it's time to knock out this Ford F150 Tremor. As you guys see in the previous episode, we did get the engine pulled out of the truck, and we did notice some pretty bad news on this engine. There was actually a hole on the turbo right down here. You can see where this engine mount broke and it kind of went in there. So we got a new engine mount on order, and we also got a new turbo coming in here soon. But while we wait on that, we're gonna go ahead and swap the rest of everything off this old frame and put it on the new frame, because we need to get this thing cut up and get it scrapped because it's just taking up too much room inside the shop. So basically just remove all the suspensions and go ahead and install them on the new frame. So the first thing we're gonna do on this front end is basically strip down all the control arms. We also need to remove the steering rack and the front differential right here in the front. And it's crazy how that thing did not break after getting smashed that bad. But let's go ahead and strip this entire thing down and get it swapped over onto the new frame. So guys, check it out. We got the entire front end all back together. The passenger side is all buttoned up and it looks really good. We also went ahead and put all the wires exactly where they need to be. Got the front differential in, also the brake lines. Everything is back to OEM spec over here. Same thing on the driver's side. We did get a new lower control arm, a shock, and a new upper control arm. Everything is bolted into place. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on the motor. We did get a new engine mount right here, straight from the Ford dealership. So this is the one that bolts onto the engine, and then we have this new one that's gonna go in just like that right there. And then that's gonna slide in there. So let's go ahead and get this replaced, and then we can actually put this engine back on the frame. The frame swap will be almost officially done. And check it out, we got the new engine mount installed. Now it's time to go ahead and pick up this engine and set it down onto the new frame. So check it out, we got the engine installed, we got pretty much everything bolted up, and I gotta say, it's looking good. Everything is on the frame except for two things, the turbo and the front steering rack, which we did have to get a new steering rack. It is sitting right over there. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but we got the engine bolted down, we got the transmission bolted down. Everything is looking good. I also just went ahead and threw on the exhaust all the way back. Everything is looking good back here. Now it's time to dig in. We did get a new turbo in the mail and a new steering rack. Check this out. This is some of the best packaging I've ever seen. I don't know who else would go out of their way to build a full crate to ship a steering rack, but I gotta say, it came here and it arrived nice and secure. And this is not off a Tremor, but we talked to the dealership and they basically said the only difference between a Tremor steering rack and this steering rack is basically the inner and outer tie rods. As you can see, these are silver and these are black. I guess they're just more rated for off-roading, but that is why we're changing the steering rack. As you can see, there's a little bit of a crack right there. So we have to get this one ordered in, and I think we will just go ahead and change the tire rods from this one onto that one, and we'll be good to go. And then we have a box of gaskets right here. This is all for the turbo. And then we have our new turbo. Well, it's not a new one, it's a used one, but it has very similar miles to the Tremor, and we're gonna have to swap that out right now. So let's go ahead and remove this old turbo right here. As you guys know, it has a little bit of a crack under there. So let's remove this turbo and get the new one installed. And check it out, we got the frame rolled outside, and I gotta say, everything is back together. The frame swap is officially complete. Now it's time to just go ahead and roll it underneath the cab and get the cab bolted down on there. But I gotta say, everything on this frame is back to OEM spec. Check that out. Every clip, every bolt looks absolutely perfect. We made sure we didn't miss anything. We even put all the heat sheeting back on just so it'd be just like the OEM. Got everything plugged up. Everything is ready to go. Now my brothers are gonna be here in a little bit. They're gonna help me push this thing in because I'm here by myself and I couldn't really even push it out of the garage. But yeah, basically we just need to move the old frame right here. I kind of just had it sitting out here because I had to chop it up into pieces because I couldn't move it by myself. But we're obviously gonna keep that rear section because you can't actually splice it in. You can see right here, there's a splice point from the factory. I'm guessing it's somewhere here, but basically you can splice in this whole rear section. I think Ford actually allows it. If you were by a truck hitting the rear, that'd be a nice little swap. But the only thing that's left on this old frame is that heat shield right there, which we will take off in a second. And then the old frame is just chilling right here, laying up against the wall. But man, look at that right there. That is crazy. All because of that, we had to do all that. But anyways, we're almost done. This front frame section only has a couple of things left on it. I kind of just put these bolts back in here. I think these are for some grounds for the power steering, which we'll get on that here soon. And then we have a couple of clips. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this frame rolled underneath. we got the entire frame rolled underneath the truck. Now it's time to go ahead and slowly lower down this cab and get it all bolted up. And I also went ahead and just put this vacuum line, or I think it's like a breather line. I just put it back on the truck. If you guys remember, we kind of forgot to unplug it because it goes all the way up here. It's right above the transfer case. Couldn't really get to it, but we got it unplugged from here. So once we lower it down, we can just clip it back into place. Now we just need to slowly lower this sucker down and get everything bolted in, and the frame swap will be 100% complete. And check it out, the cab is finally mated to the frame, and I'm just super happy that all the bolts lined up perfectly. Everything got bolted into place, and man, that was pretty fun doing it by myself. Had to make sure every bolt hole lined up. We even had to grab the jack, move the frame over just a little bit. But now that we have the cab back on, we need to go ahead and start reconnecting all these wires and all these plugs that we disconnected over here. So let's go ahead and reassemble this entire engine bay. So we got everything back together. On the passenger side, we got all the wires plugged up. Unfortunately, we are gonna need a new battery tray. As you can see, it's cracked right there. But for now, it's gonna work. And basically what happens whenever a truck gets hit or any cars get hit, usually that battery has a lot of weight and it just kind of shifts. But we got all that plugged up. Now we're gonna move over to the driver's side. We need to go ahead and reconnect all these brake lines right here and plug up all the wires. So we got pretty much everything plugged up on this truck, and these wires right here, they will actually plug into the fender liner with these little clips. I don't know why Ford did that. They could have just made some sort of bracket here, but they've been doing it on pretty much all of their trucks. Now it's time to go ahead and see if this thing will start. I went ahead and threw the battery on it, and I think it should be good to go. Everything looks good here, so let's go ahead and hop in the truck, and hopefully this thing cranks right up. I mean, there was a lot of plugs and a lot of wires. Get the dash on. Let's see. Hold that button right there. And let's see if this thing will crank. And check that out, it's running good. We're not gonna run it too long. Obviously there's a lot of air codes on there because we did drain all the fluid. It's making some kind of weird noise. I don't know what that was, but I guess it was just it initializing. But, oh, I think that's some kind of actuator in there. It's probably because the brakes are so, wait, ooh, we got some fluid leaking. What the heck? Oh, I didn't tighten up this brake line right here. What the heck? It pumps its own brakes. That's pretty cool. Wait, hold up. Let me tighten that up. It actually just started pumping its own brakes. I've never seen that before. Let's see, where's my 13? That is weird. I was wondering what that noise was. And it started pumping the brakes. You can see it's leaking out. I'm gonna tighten this up. See, I started unscrewing this, but I realized I could just unscrew it right there. There we go. That was pretty weird. It started pumping its own brakes. I guess this whole system right here, you can see it has like a hydraulic system right there. I guess that's how they do the bleeding procedures on these trucks. I want to see if this four pedal got tighter. I don't know. It still goes all the way down. I have to do a lot of pumping here. Now it's getting tighter. There's probably a little bit of brakes. I'm probably just gonna bleed the brakes with the vacuum bleeder. And then I did order a software called Ford Scan. I think that's what it's called. And you can pretty much do anything on these Ford trucks. So there we have it, guys. The frame swap is officially complete. And I gotta say, that was some of the most painstaking work ever. It's not that it's hard. It's just that there's so much stuff you have to remove, so much stuff you have to put on, especially like with the heavy differential and then the engine. That thing was super sketchy installing that engine with those two cherry pickers. But we got everything installed. The truck runs. Obviously, we haven't driven it yet because we need to put all the radiators on. And also, we need to replace this apron right here, which we do have back there. A whole brand new apron. It's already painted white, so we'll have to just pull this forward somehow, get that thing riveted in there, and then we can keep moving on. But hey, this truck is looking good. I mean, we haven't been working on it for too long. As you guys know, we had to go over to the Goon Squad for a couple of days, got their G-Wagon all knocked out. That thing was just a pain to get right, but we knocked that sucker out, and then we came back here, got the engine back in this truck, got it all running, and bam. I mean, there's really not much left to do on this thing. Fix the frame damage over here, bolt it all back down, and then we can start installing our new intercooler, the new radiators, all that cool fun stuff. We'll also have a new hood over there in the back, so we'll be able to get this thing all back together. But that will probably be in the next episode. We already did way too much in this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit that sub button. Also follow us on Instagram at vTuned. Thanks for watching.